In today's episode, we will demonstrate some of the things you'll find in Section 2, which is the plan section of the PDF version and the OneNote version of the ProfessorBlackmore.com eTrial Notebook template. In addition, I will also demonstrate some practical uses using our sample automobile bicycle collision case entitled Winters versus Ramirez, while demonstrating OneNote's also powerful dictation feature. Suzanne Winters was riding her bicycle on Homer Street, approaching Main Street. New paragraph. Suzanne Winters' bicycle did not have a light or reflectors, comma. She was wearing dark clothing and she was not wearing any reflectors or reflective clothing. New paragraph. Main Street, then Mr. Hi there, I'm Professor Blackmore, and I want to welcome you back to my channel and to another episode in my ProfessorBlackmore.com eTrial Notebook podcast series. And today, to demonstrate some of the things you'll find in Section 1, which is the plan section of the PDF version and the OneNote version of the ProfessorBlackmore.com eTrial Notebook template, as well as some practical uses using our sample automobile bicycle collision case entitled Winters versus Ramirez. And as you remember from episode 1 of this podcast series, we had a chance to review the police officer traffic collision report, which revealed that plaintiff Suzanne Winters was riding her bicycle on Homer Street, and the defendant, Mario Ramirez, was driving his automobile on Main Street. The police officer provided a sketch diagram of the scene of the accident here in this portion of the traffic collision report. But as you can see more clearly here on this diagram, there are stop signs on Homer Street where Miss Winters was traveling. Nevertheless, Main Street, where Mr. Ramirez was traveling, does not have any traffic signs or signals. In addition, the plaintiff, Miss Winters' neighbor, Lisa Oshima, was standing right here across the intersection of Homer and Main Street. And as Miss Winters proceeded across the intersection, Mr. Ramirez collided into her. Now, Miss Winters alleges that Mr. Ramirez was speeding and was not paying attention to the roadway. And as such, Miss Winters wants Mr. Ramirez to compensate her for the cost of the bicycle, her medical bills, lost wages, loss of earning capacity, pain and suffering, mental anguish, etc. On the other hand, Mr. Ramirez alleges he had the right of way and that Miss Winters ran the stop sign, causing her own damages. And so, when this case comes into the law office on the plaintiff or defendant side of the case, this is the time to start constructing the trial notebook by starting with the first section of the trial notebook, which is the plan section. The plan section of the trial notebook tells the entire staff what needs to be done and when it needs to be done. In addition, it will not let you, as the attorney and/or your office staff, forget a time deadline or what needs to be done if you always look at your trial notebook's litigation checklist, which is the first document that should be in the plan section. Attorneys can direct their staff if they are out of the office, or if the office staff may otherwise have spare time, they should review the trial notebook and begin working on tasks that remain incomplete. And after you have conducted a few cases using this eTrial notebook technique, your office staff will become aware of your trial presentation variations and your trial presentation preferences, and it will be able to work quite independently. Now, the litigation checklist is a unique and important feature of your eTrial notebook strategy, which should be used to move your case forward in an organized fashion. Of course, you may modify the litigation checklist for your own practice and jurisdiction. In addition, as you can see here in the eTrial Notebook workbook, the philosophy of each section of the eTrial Notebook is explained in greater detail. Now, let's move forward to Section 2 of the ProfessorBlackmore.com eTrial Notebook template, which is the summary section. The summary section is where you go when you want to refresh your memory about the case. The following items should be placed in the summary section, which will always allow you to refresh your memory about the case. And these 4 items include a one-sheet summary of the case, the latest of any other internal summaries of the case that you or your staff have prepared, the last evaluation of the case that you sent to the client or insurer, a helpful map or sketch, a timeline or chronology, the basic contact in the case, or a photo that is frequently referred to in the examination of witnesses. In other words, the most basic visual item or exhibit that is going to drive much of what you do can be copied and placed here. And as you can see here, I even placed this photo on the cover of the PDF and OneNote versions of my eTrial Notebook template. In order to set an image on the cover of the OneNote version of the eTrial Notebook, you'll simply right-click on the image, then scroll down and select Set Picture as Background. Upon doing so, you can now type text on the top of the image to finish the cover. So, you can also have a copy of the photo in your summary section. Now, the summary should be limited to one page because nothing works better to clarify the mind, because the act of tightly summarizing the case on one sheet, front and back, forces you to organize your own thinking about what is important in the case. And if you cannot summarize the case on one sheet, then something is wrong with your approach to the case. Now remember, the summary section of your eTrial Notebook is not a file folder to be stuffed with lots of material. This summary section is for items which can truly be said to be summaries of information. And some summaries may be in the form of a particular map, document, or photo that is rich in content. The ProfessorBlackmore.com eTrial Notebook template includes the generic one-sheet case summary as well as the motor vehicle accident case summary. Now, regarding the purpose of the one-sheet case summary, it contains the basic and hardcore facts that probably will not change. Contrary to what clients expect, litigation commonly takes more than a year to bring to termination. Most attorneys, legal assistants, and paralegals do not work on the case file each day, and they may only refer to the case once a week or less. In any office of more than one attorney, it is frequently necessary for a second attorney to work on the file as well. And because of all of these factors, there must be a quick and reliable way to refresh the minds or newly inform the minds about the key dates, primary persons, and essential facts in the case. And the one-sheet case summary fills this need. Now, for a motor vehicle accident case, I personally like to use the generic one-sheet case summary as opposed to the motor vehicle accident case summary. So, I like to use the generic one-sheet case summary, and then I'll include in it any issues that are raised in the motor vehicle accident case summary that are applicable, because as you can see, the motor vehicle accident case summary includes some very useful information for a case like our sample case, Winters versus Ramirez, such as adverse driver vehicle insurer information, information about the police investigator and any police charges or tickets, the weather condition, witness information, etc. But instead of using this motor vehicle accident case summary, I prefer to use the generic one-sheet case summary and use selected information from the motor vehicle accident case summary as needed based on the particular facts of the case. Now, as we go along in the Winters versus Ramirez case, in addition to the fact that Ms. Winters may have failed to stop at the stop sign, details about the time of day and any details about any steps Ms. Winters failed to take to mitigate her own damages are details that may be of note to be included in the summary for the attorney representing the defendant, Mr. Ramirez. Clearly, we never have the benefit of knowing the strengths and weaknesses of any case when it first comes into the office. Nevertheless, I do know the strengths and weaknesses of our sample case. And so, for the purpose of training, let's look into the future of this case and look at some of the trial testimony to get an idea about some of these details.
Ms. Winters, do you consider yourself a safe bike rider?
Definitely.
And you said that the accident occurred about 6:30 in the evening, correct?
Yes, that's right.
So it was dark at the time of the accident, correct?
No, not completely dark. No, it was just starting to get dark.
Well, the street lights had come on already, had they not?
I don't think so.
Well, when you saw the defendant's car coming towards you, did you see that his headlights were on?
Yes.
And being a safe rider, you had your bike's headlight turned on at the time of the accident, did you not?
Well, I didn't have a bike.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Ms. Winters. What did you say?
No, I didn't have a light. I hadn't bought one yet. The bike was brand new, as I said, and I just hadn't bought one yet.
Well, certainly you had reflectors on your bike so that cars would be able to see you at night.
Well, I hadn't gotten any reflectors yet either.
Were you wearing any reflective clothing that night?
No.
Well, what were you wearing?
Jeans and a jacket.
What color was the jacket?
Black.
And your jeans?
Blue.
Dark blue?
Yes.
Ms. Winters, isn't it true that this whole accident could have been avoided if you had taken some basic safety precautions?
No, that's not true at all.
Ms. Winters, were you riding home faster than usual on the night of the accident?
No.
You weren't hurrying home for any reason that night?
No.
Ms. Winters, do you remember having your deposition taken on September 6th of this year in my office?
Yes.
Your attorney was there with you?
Yes.
At the beginning of that deposition, you took an oath that you would answer my questions truthfully, correct?
Yes.
That was the same oath that you took today when you were called to the witness stand, wasn't it?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would like to read from the witness's deposition at page 43, lines 10 to 16. Question, do you normally feed your dog every morning? Answer, yes. Question, and did you feed your dog the morning of March 3rd? Answer, no. I was late for work and I forgot to feed her that morning. Question, so when you were riding home from work that day, were you hurrying home so you could feed your dog? Answer, yes. Do you remember being asked those questions and giving those answers?
Yes.
Well, then tell the jury, please, Ms. Winters, were you or were you not hurrying home that night?
Well, I guess maybe I was hurrying a little bit.
Any more witnesses, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls to the stand Ms. Lisa Oshima.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Ms. Oshima, do you know the plaintiff, Suzanne Winters?
Yes.
How do you know her?
She and I are neighbors.
Would you describe yourselves as friends?
I'd say acquaintances.
Ms. Oshima, on March 3rd at about 6:30 in the evening, were you walking in the area of Homer and Main Streets?
Yes, I was.
Would you please use Exhibit A to point out where you were walking?
I was walking down Homer here, and I was going to cross Main Street this way.
Did you see Ms. Winters at the intersection?
Yes. Just as I was getting to the corner, I saw her coming towards me on the other side of Homer, right about here.
What did you do when you saw her?
I waved to her, and she waved back.
Then what happened?
She stopped at the stop sign, and as she started into the intersection, a car came around the curve and they crashed into each other.
Where in the intersection did that happen?
Right here.
And what did you do immediately after the accident happened?
I ran over to Suzanne to see if she was all right. There was another woman on the other side of the street, and she came over too.
When Ms. Winters came to the stop sign, did you see her come to a complete stop?
Well, I'm not sure.
Did Ms. Winters take her feet off the pedals?
No, I don't think so.
Did you see her check for oncoming traffic?
I don't remember.
Now, you said a moment ago that there was another woman on the other side of the street. Is that correct?
Yes.
What, if anything, did the woman say about who might have caused the accident?
She said Suzanne should have stopped at the stop sign.
Thank you, Ms. Oshima. I have nothing further.
Now, OneNote includes a lot of powerful tools, including the dictation tool, which makes the task of completing the one-page summary effortless. And so again, I want to use my generic one-sheet case summary. And to use the dictation tool, you simply go up to the Home tab, which is where you will see the dictation tool button. Simply click the dictation tool button and you'll see the red light appear. Now, you can simply begin speaking. On March 3rd, 2018, at approximately 6:15 p.m., Mr. Ramirez was driving on Main Street, approaching Homer Street. See case summary diagram marked as Exhibit A, period. Officer Darrell Harrison of the Centerville, California Police Department reported to the scene of the accident. Officer ID number CD44372, period. New paragraph. Suzanne Winters was riding her bicycle on Homer Street, approaching Main Street, period. New paragraph. Suzanne Winters' bicycle did not have a light or reflectors, She was wearing dark clothing, and she was not wearing any reflectors or reflective clothing, period. New paragraph. Main Street that Mr. Ramirez was traveling on was not controlled by a traffic signal or traffic sign, period. There was a stop sign at the intersection where Miss Winters was riding her bicycle, period. New paragraph. Miss Winters' neighbor, Miss Lisa Oshima, witnessed the accident and reported that she did not see Miss Winters take her feet off the pedals of the bike when she approached the intersection, period. Miss Oshima also reported that she spoke to another woman who witnessed the accident, and that other witness told Miss Oshima that Miss Winters did not stop at the intersection, period. New paragraph. Mr. Ramirez reports that Miss Winters darted out into the intersection and he could not see her until it was too late, at which time Mr. Ramirez and Miss Winters were involved in the collision, period. And when you are finished, you just go up to the top and press the dictation button again to end the dictation. And so, you can see this is just one of many powerful tools included in OneNote, and I use it to organize every aspect of my daily life, from my work in organizing lesson plans to trial litigation strategy to my grocery shopping list. Now, when I come back in the next episode of this podcast series, I will demonstrate some of the things you'll find in Section 3 of the eTrial Notebook template, which is the pretrial order section, as well as some practical uses using our sample case, Winters versus Ramirez, at which time I will also demonstrate even more powerful tools included in the OneNote application. But in the meantime, if you might consider constructing and using your own eTrial notebook, the OneNote version, or even a PDF version at your next trial, or if you have any questions, please let me know by leaving your comments in the comments section below. And if you found these tips useful, I hope you'll also give me a big thumbs up. And I hope you'll also consider donating to this episode and my entire channel by donating to the Professor Blackmore Cash App, which is PROFBLACKMORE. And I hope you will also subscribe to my YouTube channel and set your notifications, and then be sure to turn on your notifications so you'll be notified whenever I come back with more law office productivity and e-trial notebook, law office automation, and paralegal tips. And please, if you would like to purchase a copy of my e-trial notebook template, please visit me on my website at ProfessorBlackmore.com. And please also follow me on TikTok and Instagram.